Now Sigurd took his weapons and his clothing, and a mean horse with no saddle, and rode out of the castle and down before the mountain, and he did not stop until he came to King Thidrek's tent. He got off his horse and went inside and spoke. "Hail to you, good man. I would greet you by name if I knew it." And they answered him in the same fashion and bade him welcome. And then spoke Sigurd. "My lord, King Isung, sent me here to take tribute from you, as it is the law here that the king should have it. If the king does not receive the tribute, you will not be able to conceal yourself, and you will shortly lose not only your money, but also your lives." And King Thidrek answered, "We did not set out on this expedition into this country to begin to pay your king tribute. You may tell your king that our intention is to challenge him to battle. Let him come against me with the same number of men that I have, and before we part, he will be able to find out what kind of warrior has attacked him." And young Sigurd answered, "With your leave, I will now ask what the name of your chieftain is, and from what land you come. You are doing something that has never been done before, if you are challenging King Isung and his men. Have you never heard how powerful he is? I am sure that he will not refuse to fight with you, no matter who you are." And Vidga replied, "Whether you know any of these men who have come here or not, I shall not hide their name from you. Before these men rides King Thidrek of Bern, and there is also another king here. He is called Gunnar of Niflungaland. And there are also many doughty warriors, even though we have named only these. Do you expect that King Isung and young Sigurd will fight, or will they fail to come?" And Sigurd replied, "I expect that King Isung and young Sigurd will not flee before your army in their land, even though King Thidrek of Bern and his men have come here. Be that as it may, you will still not wish to break the law and not pay the king his tribute. You can certainly send him tribute to do him and yourselves honor along with your challenge. It is fitting for him, and no shame for you." King Thidrek answered, "Because you are carrying out your mission with great skill and courtesy, I shall send him a gift that will do him honor to accept." King Thidrek then spoke to his men. "What shall we send him that will do him honor to accept? Let us send him a horse and a shield, and we will cast lots to see which of our men shall send him his horse and his shield as a gift." They did so. And when the lots were cast, the choice fell on Amlung, the son of Earl Hornbogi. His horse and his shield were taken, and King Thidrek sent them to King Isung. And now Sigurd rode on his way. Amlung thought it a great misfortune that he had lost his horse, and he thought it would have been better to have lost much of his wealth at home. He wished now to ride after Sigurd, and he did not wish to leave things as they were. he went to his father and asked him to lend him his horse, so that he could go and try to get his horse from the man who was riding away with it. The earl did not want him to ride after Sigurd, and he did not want to lend him his horse. He wished to leave things as they were. Amlung went to Vidga and asked him to lend him his horse. And Vidga answered, "I suspect that you will not be able to get your horse from this young man, if he is who I think he is. And if you do not regain your horse, you will also lose my horse. What will I have from that?" And Amlung answered, "If you lose your horse, then you shall own all of my holdings, and that is 12 of the strongest castles in Vinland. My father gave them to me, but you shall be his heir, as I am now, if I do not bring your horse back. I shall regain my horse or die." And Vidga answered, "Under these conditions, you can have my horse, because you have the most to lose on this trip." And Amlung mounted Skemming and rode as hard as he could until he found the man a short distance from the king, next to a linden tree. Amlung called out to the man and asked him to wait for him, and he did so. So Amlung spoke, "Dismount from that horse you are riding. I do not wish to give it up to you because I have a long way to ride home." And Sigurd answered, "Who are you who speaks so boldly about his horse I am riding? I am not aware that you will be able to take him, whether you own him or not." And Amlung answered, "Dismount from the horse. If you do not do so, then you will lose your life, and the horse as well." And Sigurd began to suspect that this might be the son of Earl Hornbogi, and thus a kinsman. He spoke, "I see clearly that you wish to fight for the horse against me, and it may turn out that you will soon meet the man who wishes to fight with you, even though you will not fight now. I suggest that we decide in a different fashion whether you lose the horse you are now claiming along with the horse you are now sitting on. Turn your spear shaft forward and ride at me, and I will wait for you standing still. If you knock me off my horse, then you will have your horse. Enjoy it well. But if I withstand your charge, then I will attempt to ride at you with my spear shaft. Turn forward, and we shall not stop this game before one or the other has lost his horse." And this pleased Amlung well, and he accepted it. Now Amlung rode at Sigurd, and spurred Skemming, and struck with his spear shaft at the middle of Sigurd's shield, so hard that Sigurd's horse fell back on his hind feet. But he himself sat still in the saddle, as the spear shaft broke in the middle. And Sigurd spoke now. "That was bravely ridden by a strong man, but it may be that you have relatives in your family who have known such knightly prowess. Dismount from your horse and cinch him tightly, and prepare him as well as you can, along with yourself, before you remount. You will now stand against me, as I did against you, as if everything depended on it, if you do not wish to lose your horse." Amlung did so, and prepared everything as skillfully as he could. And now Sigurd drove his horse with his spurs, and struck with his stout spear shaft into the middle of the fair shield, so hard and strong that he carried Amlung far off the back of his horse with his spear shaft. And Sigurd now took the reins of Skemming and said, "Now, good boy, you have lost the horse you were coming after, along with the other one. I would guess that it cost you enough, if it is as I think, and you have lost Skemming, Vidgar's horse. I would guess that you have pledged a great deal before taking him, and you will have the ingratitude of the one who gave it to you. It would have been better to have remained quiet about it all." Amlung answered, "So it might seem to those who are not men of accomplishment, but it may still turn out well in our case, even though it has not begun well." Sigurd spoke. "What will you give now to get back your horse, along with the one you have lost now?" Amlung answered, "I shall do everything I can to do so, as long as it does not bring shame to me or my kinsmen." And Sigurd spoke. "Earlier, when we met, I asked you for your name and what family you belonged to, but you were so proud that you did not want to name your family." Amlung responded, "If I kept my family and my name secret from you before when I had my horse, then my comrades would say that I told you out of fear. Now I will certainly not do it to win my horse or any other, even though all of my money and my land were riding on it, and I would suffer dishonor and shame from it." Sigurd answered, "I do not wish to ask you for the sake of dishonor, but rather from thanks. If it is as I think, that you are the son of Earl Hornbogi, my kinsman, I would rather give you honor and not dishonor. I shall now tell you my name first. I am called young Sigurd." And Amlung spoke. "Even though you have now told me your name first, without being forced, I will still not tell you mine, unless you promise with God as a witness that I shall never receive shame from it." And Sigurd answered, "That I will certainly promise you." And Amlung spoke. "My name is Amlung. I am the son of Earl Hornbogi, as you had guessed, and it is true that we are kinsmen." Sigurd spoke. "You have done well that you did not keep this secret any longer, that you are my kinsman. I shall manage it, that you receive honor and not dishonor from this." And Sigurd sprang now from the horse and said, "Go, good kinsman, and take your horse and the other, and ride back to your camp. You shall say that you took them from me by force. And before you go there, you should tie me to this tree, and take away my spear, my horse, and my shield." And he did so. Amlung rode back with his 2 horses, and when he came before the tents, he rode hard and was very proud in his bearing. What a great act of kindness by young Sigurd towards his kinsman Amlung, the son of Earl Hornbogi. In the next episode, we will hear about King Isung's decision, many duels being fought, as well as many men being defeated. So thanks for tuning in, and see you again next time, back here at Sagenheim.